Hey everybody, Nick Kypreos here, and welcome to the first of what I hope is many Real Kyper at Noon show. And yes, I got my time slot. I wanted my time slot. If I'm going to work with a certain co-host, I know he likes his afternoon naps. But welcome to what I hope is one of many. It reminds me of October 1998 all over again when we launched Sportsnet. Heck, I didn't know either I was going to last 20 minutes or 20 years. So I feel like a rookie all over again. And yes, welcome to the studio inside the home that Sportsnet built. Can you believe I am doing this from my own home? Yes, I was so worried when I left Sportsnet after 21 years where I was going to end up. Could I find another job? Did I want another job? NBC? Could I go to those at TSN? Did you see what I just did? Did you see what I have? I've got a button that can make sure when I refer to those at TSN, you don't hear it. Okay, I promise I won't abuse that, but I might have to use it every once in a while with Doug McLean. But this is fantastic. Yes, it's a work in progress. I don't have any shelves up yet. I don't have any jerseys up yet. And I don't know if I'm a jersey guy. I can't do it. But maybe there might be one I could hang that I like. So maybe we'll go into the back room here and find one of those old jerseys that maybe my first jersey. You know, I have my first jersey I ever wore when I was 7 years old. We were sponsored by Mandarin Garden. I grew up in North York, Ontario, and we played next door to the Peanut Plaza. Not too many people know where the Peanut Plaza is outside of Toronto, but I can tell you what, I know and Kirk McLean knows. Kirk grew up across the street. Of course, I'm talking about the legendary Vancouver Canuck goalie, Kirk McLean. We actually went to school together, which was a lot of fun. But listen, I am so happy you're here with me. This show is going to be about what you've been accustomed to watching with me over the last few years. It's going to be fun. It's going to be informative. It's going to be passionate, and it's going to be authentic. That's the one thing I think we were able to do over the last few years at Sportsnet is bring you what we had hoped was the real deal in terms of our information, what we're hearing, what we're learning, and wrapping it up with a nice opinion. And you don't have to agree with it all the time. Heck, I trust me, I know when you don't agree with me. There is something now out there that we didn't have in 1998 called social media, and you get to voice your opinions just as much as me. And trust me, the feedback does come back. We hear you. But let's keep in mind that we want to be in a more mindful, respectful time in our lives. So just keep it fairly clean. And speaking of respectful, I got to tell you, I partnered up with i3 Interactive and linemovement.com. This is where I'm going to be. This is my new home, and they've been nothing but respectful for me. I got intrigued early when we started talking. And listen, we know what they specialize in: online platforms, sports betting, casino games. I get all of that. And when they first started talking to me, I said to them, hey, listen, I'm not a handicapper. I'm not a bookie. I'm not talking spreads or over-unders or who's the favorite. I just want to talk hockey. And they said, we want you to talk hockey too. We don't want you to be a handicapper. We don't need all of that. What we want is real, authentic content. We want what you've been able to do every day at noon for the last 10, 15 years. I said, I can do that. And I can find some friends that can do that too. And that's what it's all about. Listen, you're going to go out there, and if you want to bet on your favorite team, by all means, do it. That's your decision. We want you to do it in a fun, responsible way. As they say in Vegas, we want you to bet with your head, not over it. If you choose one day to give up your $6 cappuccino and put it on the Tampa Bay Lightning or the New York Rangers or the Calgary Flames, do it. Now, am I the biggest gambler out there? Absolutely not. Do I like to go out and play a little bit blackjack and roulette? And I got a couple of stories I can share in the next little while on certain blackjack players in the media, especially those at TSN. I sat at a few tables with them, had a lot of fun. But most importantly, today on Real Kyper at noon, I'm betting on myself. And I hope you are putting a small wager on this is the place that you want to be on a daily basis, getting your hockey information. All right. So much has changed in the last 12 months. No question here. The pandemic has done a lot of teaching for all of us, a lot of social unrest. The only thing I want to say moving forward is we got to still teach each other how to treat each other better. We got to learn how to work together. And most importantly, and I say this from the bottom of my heart, we got to protect each other moving forward. As they said, we're all in this together. So before we go to 2018, let's go down the path of 2012 when Gary Bettman, and I'm paraphrasing, said hockey atmosphere was inconsistent with betting. He had no appetite for it. He was skeptical on it. And really, from an emotional point of view, talked about how cheering for your favorite team and placing money on another team was a conflict of your emotions. And yeah, listen, for whatever reason, he didn't like it. So what happened in 2018 changed everything. And you got to go back to the US Supreme Court when they ruled that the federal ban on sports betting outside of Nevada is unconstitutional. And states can now move forward to legalize it. You know what that meant? Swoosh. You like that sound? Swoosh. That to me is floodgates opening up for everybody. And don't tell I3, my new boss, this, but they were one of them that flooded. Because what does that mean now for Gary Bettman, more importantly, and the players, is now fan engagement, re-engagement. It's no secret here, folks, that the attention span of the hockey fan has shrunk. And now everything changes if you decide to take your $6 cappuccino and turn it into a bet. How much are you now watching the game? So now that we've established the attention span shrinking, we do know that people want to still be in touch. So you know what they have? Notification, pings. The moment there's a goal scored, ping. You get to see it on your phone. The moment there's a fight, ping. You get to see it on the phone. So you get to actually go and do something else and then get notified. That's how people were starting to watch the game. Gary knew it and knew he had to do something about it. So fan engagement now changes the scope. You want to turn your $6 cappuccino into a prop bet on who scores first in the Battle of Alberta, Edmonton, or Calgary? Hey, you're going to watch it. The score is 6-1 in a nothing third period. Are you disappearing? No. Why aren't you disappearing? Because you got the over on the bet. That's what he's looking for. That's what they're all looking for in professional sports. So that intrigued me. That said to me, this is the trend. And who am I to argue with it? We went through it with alcohol 100 years ago. We went through it with cannabis 3 years ago. And now we're going through it with sports betting. It's not going away. And certainly we encourage you to bet with your head, not over it. We don't want you betting over your means. We want you to be responsible. We want you to have fun. And we want to We want girlfriends to prove to their boyfriends and wives to prove to their husbands that they know, if not more, about the Toronto Maple Leafs, the New York Rangers, or the Vancouver Canucks. I think a $5 bet could do it. All right, general topics that we'll be discussing in the next few weeks. No different than you're already heard in terms of hub cities, a return to play, bubbles. Now, what is the term that I'm hearing when we start hearing players aren't available in training camp? Unfit to play. All right, it just took us only about what, 5, 7 years to start getting used to upper and lower body injuries. Now we got unfit to play. What the hell does that mean? I know misfit. I know can't fit. I said put on a few pounds. No, actually, I've lost weight. Doug is can't fit. But I don't know misfit. To me, this is unbelievable that we've got a new topic, or at least a new label, to describe players that are unavailable to play, or at least to practice. But I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot more of that as we move forward. The return to play. Are you for it or against it? Do you believe in it, or do you sit there and say, hey, why are we putting players' lives at risk? And we've heard that argument already. I, for one, believe that this is the right thing to do at the right time. No question that our COVID numbers are much better than the ones in the US. The safest environment we have for the players are in places like Toronto and Edmonton, and or even out east. I really believe that you could have ended up going to Halifax, where the numbers are almost next to nothing. But they chose what they chose. They're giving the players the best scientific evidence that they have. How much have we learned in the last few months? I'm not sure about that. But this is about medical science right now. The best doctors in the world telling these players, this is how we best protect you, as to the best of my knowledge. That's good enough for me. If it fails, it fails. But I tell you what, I think you got to try, and I'm all for it. The other question I have is, what's it going to be like playing in an empty building? I've skated. We've had scrimmages in empty buildings. I've trained in the summer in an empty building. I want to say this about the hockey players, is that you're competitive no matter what. You get these guys in an environment where there's competition, I really believe they're going to rise. Do I think that they need 18,000 fans screaming at them to compete? No. Do I remember the time on a flight early in my career where I'm playing Mike Liute, our goaltender, a game of cribbage, and I went to go move the peg one spot, and I ended up moving it two spots, and he punched me in my shoulder, and he said, "Quit cheating, Justin." I'm like, "Who's Justin?" He says, "My 8-year-old." That's competition. You get these guys on the ice and their talent level rises, their competition level rises. I have no problem thinking, and it may take some time, that we will see great hockey. Now, I can speak all I want about how great these hockey players are, but the other question is, they've been off for 4 months. What kind of condition are they in? What did they have available in their hometowns? Did they have a gym in their basement? We knew that there weren't any rinks open. Did some of them sneak out there and skate? Yeah, I can tell you they did. I'm in Toronto, and I know where guys were skating. So, yeah, they did have some access to certain things. Now, are the veterans with their mindset at an advantage? Is it the young kids that still have their legs? Were they sitting on the couch playing Fortnite for the last 4 months? Are they mentally and physically ready? Who's going to be in better shape here moving forward? That'll be a lot into what we see in those first couple of weeks. All right, the rest of my day as the director of hockey is I got to make some phone calls and I got to go and sign Doug MacLean. That's what I have to do. I got to cut a deal. Now, budgets are a little tough. I'm thinking maybe I put him on a PTO. Tomorrow, I'm going to have Doug MacLean on this show and I'll put him on a PTO, a player tryout. He's on a player tryout on the Real Kyper at Noon show. And you tell me, you listen in on linemovement.com, our YouTube channel, and all major podcast platforms like Spotify. That happens to be my favorite. Also joining me tomorrow is player representative from Will Sports, Ian Pulver. We're going to ask him some questions on how he dealt with his players through COVID. We also know Ian spent 15 years at the National Hockey League Players Association and helped reconstruct this new CBA. And when I say new CBA, I'm talking about the salary cap, from going no cap to a salary cap in 2004, and how it's affected him as an agent, and some of the things that he liked in it and some of the things he didn't. That's all tomorrow on Real Kyper at Noon. Thanks for joining.